Quelling to you, Napata, Mipa, Yajis, yes, ma, Dada chicken, we, my Dada key and turn, Dada Betty, the Shamsin Buddha Daguma, Pinyala, Tinjani, point out Namya, Dwell, Aya, don't you know, scholarship fund, a dwell, Tayar, Tapo, good idea down had fund the coupon, fund the arrow. I said, be music, a type of good idea down had a scholarship fund. I tell my look with Tayar, as second lieutenant, there, no one mother, look with said they lieutenant Eddie. Oh no, no more than that, they are living. So today, enter the chicken way, enter the Kenyan turn, and family from USA have donated into the scholarship I have set up for students. That is 10 million jets, and also 1 million for my needs. So this is, using this opportunity, we are going to discuss the Dhamma, the teaching of the Buddha. So what I have in mind today is about positive thinking, how positive thinking is more important in the challenging time. In the challenging time, our positive thinking is usually is usually facing more challenges than any other time. And often we come to think, what's the use of positive thinking? When our positive thinking cannot prevent undesirable events from unfolding. I think this question is emotional. However we may rationalize it using our EQ, actually this is an emotional perspective, an emotional question. It's about wavering. It's about our belief in the value of positive thinking, doing positive thing, thinking positive things, saying positive things. The reason I think positive thinking is important is that only through positive thinking that we can build anything, and on that positive thinking that we can develop the community. Look at the World War II. People during the World War, people actually set aside any positive thinking that they may have had. And so their thinking, their action were based on survival instinct. Their survival was the priority, the top priority. And with that strategy, people actually acted in a way that harm each other, and actually also harm themselves in the long run. It took years and years to rebuild. So we cannot actually build on anything for the community, for the nation, for the world, once we have given up our positive thinking. So a lot of destruction follow with the giving up of positive thinking, positive attitude during the First and the World War II. But nowadays we can see anywhere where people give up on positive thinking, actually they start thinking in the short term, in the short run, how to protect themselves. So in clinical psychologist term, people call this safety seeking. People are seeking safety at that moment because they don't feel safe. If you already feel safe, you're not seeking safety. When you don't feel safe in yourself and around with people around you, then you keep thinking about your own safety. So the safety-seeking mode of the mind is based on what we call threat focus. At that moment, our focus is based on threat or perceived threat. Some may be real, some may be perceived, but some sort of threat. So we can then look at things or events from this point of view. When people just look around and see each other as a threat, how they would behave. They would behave to protect themselves. They would behave so that they would feel safe, no matter the cost. They would cut themselves off from other people. They would stop looking at similarities that they may have with other people. So when we stop looking at similarities that we have with other people, commonality, things that we have in common, then naturally we will develop more fear. We strengthen the existing fear. So what does it mean by positive thinking then? Positive thinking means to believe in the value of doing good things and to believe that the challenges can be overcome. This is a very to keep this attitude, to nurture this attitude is actually very challenging in itself. Because if other people, in Burmese we have a saying, "Mo kha ye tao de." Mo kha ye tao de. There is a saying when other people drink the bitter rainwater. This is from one of the stories that we have in Burmese. When other people are doing it, why should I stay away from it? So you might as well, join in. When everyone is behaving badly, you are tempted to follow suit. This is in the nature of our subconscious mind. When children, they operate mainly on their instinct. It's very easy to impress them with anything, especially with negative things. Children go to school, they come home having learned how to swear, how to say, not that they know the consequences, but they just pick it up. Our subconscious mind is like a child. It's like a child. It's easily intimidated. It can easily lose its mindfulness, awareness. But it's in the subconscious mind that we develop our habit, that we keep our habit. Meaning, a lot of our actions are dictated by our habits. You can see the role of the subconscious mind over there. To keep positive attitude, positive mind, is then to stick to our value, to stick to the value that we believe in, positive value, that in Buddhist term, our action have consequences. So we have to be careful about our action. Our action must be wholesome and also beneficial to ourselves and to our neighbors, to the people we live in the same country, or even beyond our border. So this is the whole point of the Buddhist teaching. The whole point of the Buddhist teaching is about to stay above the mud and water as a lotus. As a lotus. The aim of the Buddhist practices is to strive to achieve that status of mind. So here we are talking about, when we use the example of a lotus, we are also talking about being in the mud but not affected by the mud. Being in the situation but not affected by the situation. Instead of being affected by the situation, just as the mud is drawing its energy from the mud, getting its energy from the mud, we should actually grow out of that suffering, out of that problem we are facing. It's very easy to give up on anything good. Very easy. If people wear masks, then we wear masks. But then if we see maybe about 20% of the people, just 20% of the people, not wearing masks, our subconscious mind is being persuaded to follow the 20%. The 80% are still wearing masks. But the 20% is more powerful. That is why we talk about 80-20 theory. 80% are positive in our life, good, wholesome, cheerful. 20% needs fixing. But we give 80% of our energy and time to the 20%. Meaning, we just like to think about negative things more, even in good times. When we go through some challenging times, our mind is usually obsessed with negative things. So we can see that here we can see the role of our mind, the role of self-awareness, the importance of self-awareness. If we are not aware of negative thoughts bombarding our brain, our heart, to give into the temptation of negativity, we will end up losing all the good value that we have worked for. Positive thinking is also believing that people can change. We know Angulimala. He was a terrible man, having killed nearly 1,000 people. No one really had any positive thought, positive attitude towards him anymore, except the Buddha. The Buddha had, strong belief in humanity, even when somebody like Angulimala was behaving so badly like that. Country roads, villages became deserted because of his action. He killed. But the Buddha didn't give up on him. It might still be possible to change him. That belief is what I consider to be an important component of positive thinking. Of course, the Buddha didn't always succeed with Devadatta, his cousin, who was always against him and plotted many times to how should I describe it? The word to oust is not a proper one, because the Buddha didn't see his as a position, his own place as a position. He was just serving humanity to help them overcome suffering. And he had worked for many lives to achieve this opportunity of serving people, through compassion and wisdom. But Devadatta was also behaving badly. But the Buddha didn't give up on him. But the Buddha couldn't do many things to change the monk Devadatta. But he did everything he could. He taught him good meditation. He gave him good meditation instruction. He was a good meditator up to a certain extent. And the Buddha was always careful not to provoke him into doing bad things. But Devadatta, was very strong with his bad intention, with his own ideas. So he tried up to the last minute to destroy the mission of the Buddha and to establish himself as a leader. But the Buddha didn't give up on him. The Buddha would think that there might come an opportunity if Devadatta himself decided to take it. So in the end, when Devadatta regretted, after he had seen all his followers deserted him, as we knew in the life story of Devadatta, he regretted and he wanted to see the Buddha and apologize. He got what is remained of his friend to carry him to the Buddha. They did so, and the Buddha decided to meet him. So that regret was a very good quality, but it came perhaps too late for him. He has reached a point of no return in terms of his unwholesome activity and unwholesome action. But we are told that his regret and the Buddha's availability to be there for him lessen his suffering. So this kind of positive thinking is what Buddhism nurtured. Even when the Buddha laid down rules, for the monks, forbidding them from doing this and that, he was doing so out of positive thinking. One day, if those practicing monks became enlightened, fully enlightened, they wouldn't need these rules anymore, because their mindfulness would be 24/7 present, and that would be enough to help them to stay away from anything bad. Positive thinking in terms of cognitive ability requires us to be aware of our own thoughts and our emotions. If we are not aware of them, we get carried away by our own negative reaction, our own negative thought. Intellectually, we may still be strong and positive, but in terms of cognitive emotion, from time to time we give into negative reaction. We end up gossiping, we end up saying things that would indicate that we are looking at more impossibilities rather than possibilities. အကောင်းမြင်ဝါဒအရေးကြီးတယ်ဆိုတာကအခက်ခဲကာလမှာအစဉ်ပြေတဲ့ကာလမှာအကောင်းမြင်ဝါဒရှိတာဒီဟာကအယမ်းကြီးအံ့ဩစရာမဟုတ်သေးဘူးဆရာတော်ကြီးတစ်ပါးကသူ့ရဲ့တပည့်ကြီးကိုမေးတယ်ဆရာတော်ကြီးကတရားထိုင်နေဖို့တရားထိုင်တတ်ပြီလားတရားထိုင်တတ်ပြီတပည့်တော့ဘယ်နှစ်နာရီထိုင်နိုင်တယ်လုံးဝဝေဒနာကိုကြောနိုင်တယ်ဝေဒနာကိုကြောရဆိုတာ physical pain ကိုကြောရဆိုတာလေသူကအရင် testing ဖြစ်တာစိတ်ကိုလေတုံ့လှုပ်စီတာပဲဒီ physical pain ဒီရုပ်ဝေဒနာတွေဓာတ်လေးပါဝေဒနာတွေကလေအမလေးတော်ပါတော့ဆိုပြီးတော့လေအမြဲတမ်းပဲတော်ခိုင်းတာပဲတရားထိုင်တာသူကမလွယ်ဘူးမဖြစ်နိုင်တော့ဘူးဆိုတဲ့ဘက်ကိုပို့ပြီးတော့တွေးတယ်ဖြစ်နိုင်တယ်ဆိုတဲ့ဘက်ကိုသိမတွေးဖြစ်တော့တကယ်လို့ဝေဒနာကလာပြီးတော့စိန်ခေါ်တဲ့အခါမှာအဲ့ဒီဓာတ်ကြီး၄ပါးနေပြီးတော့ဖြစ်ပေါ်လာတဲ့ဝေဒနာဆိုတာဒါအတွင်းလောရံကိုပြောတာအဲ့နဲ့ဆရာတော်ရဲ့သူ့ရဲ့တပည့်ကိုမေးတယ်ဘယ်လိုလှုပ်တဲ့လူကိုစပိန်စီးတက်တယ်လို့နင်ယူဆတယ်လေဆရာတော်ဘုရားပထမဆုံးတော့ Shega lua deout hated now lua deout hated dilune Sabin thing Sabesi thing now pia. Area Naviro Shega deout look like now a deout kind of now so young share the lot deout look like that. Now got deout look like that. Others is a basic that a mesita de allow a mesita de. I said of ya. The dines way no, the verb can be being durable. Oh, lamb account and ya oma, lando, ludwa lando, hello. A cemetery land in my seat that was a vein seat that in the corridor. Sarah, ya, Masita theory, huh? By change about 7 seater method. Sarah, ya. Ludiaka, co 7 seater account, Ludia co lavido. Time me a mature letter, I lose a messy that they call it. So Luraka. Lord and a 2 year kama, koi a gummy waraka. Mubjang levu so ye. The economy wara, the cake. Kai near the soon enough. They didn't mean that. Perhaps you can eat my body pain out. Lord and the news of the 2 1. Bear ludi lepe. Tu go mionjiro. Tu are 2 land time to 2 day not low in it, the car. Go to experiment low in it. To change annually. Nama a jizo, Diabjasaya, the car, Diaya, so that Diabjasaya, Chinkabiro, to Lilari. Ala Kala Mado, Udagara Maboda, I say to Ubidu, Rositware. Through my sheet a syllabus, the course of study, the chance in the Pedro, a compida, Laragu bigger, Nyan le County, Jule Jews are the serious pete, open minded pete. Time through syllabus going on kama a dana Laisharea, Mahodu, Madrid. They would hag a set about Hagar, not set about you. I said the Vasimalabe, and to take out the Mayadi to do ye, do Shara Madrid. Now so Jaro Lude a tin jide. A cook him out of Jainism Korabo. Dogaras Rias and Nika Nanda Buddha. Go Ninze Bido, a payment a young can be the chin down. A salt out the lebe. Nebe, Pompey day. A deed the low, not a deed the way, woman. The chin. Nabanja at all. In Taminso in lay. The low, not the low yet the wet. Then Adam you. And I lebe Eddie Jensen Hammer she prescribed process or course of practice. And I go look that way. I go no to the out that way. Daga lebe moho de uso video. Go do in a pure nine. A do look go do in a pure nine there. Bizarki Nawaro. Koroa. Gong when chain at carry. Tayar Kujar Arrow give up look below. No canasum pian ponies or sing can have a good pian out of me. Korogo long what me on Giro. I look joy to Palodo. ထွက်နေထားသွားတယ်ဗုဒ္ဓဂယာနဲ့မိဂဒဝန်ဆိုတာကအခုခေတ်21ရာစု highway နဲ့ကားကောင်းကောင်းနဲ့သွားရင်တော့မှ9နာရီကျော်6နာရီလောက်မောင်းရခီးအဲ့ခီးကိုအဲ့ပိစာခီးကခြေချင်းနဲ့ထွက်သွားတာတေရမင်းသားဖျားဖြစ်မဲ့တေရမင်းသားကိုမယုံကြည်ဘူးပဲနဲ့ပြောပြီးတော့ပြစ်သွားတာဒါတွေကလောကဓာတ်တွေပဲအဲ့ဒီအကောင်းမြင်ဝါဒတာမရှိဘူးဆိုရင် ဒီလမ်းဖြစ်နိုင်တယ်အဖြေမှန်ကတော့ရှိတယ်အဖြေမှန်နဲ့မတွေ့သေးတာအဖြေမှန်တော့ရှိမယ် there must be a solution just that I haven't found it အဲ့ဒီလိုကိုယ်ယုံကြည်တဲ့ဟာမရှိဘူးဆိုရင်ဒီနေ့ဘုန်းတော်ဗုဒ္ဓသာသနာမရှိပါဘူးမရှိတော့မရှိနိုင်ပါအဲ့ဒီနေရာပဲကြိုက်မှာတော့ပဲကြိုက်မှာတော့သူတို့မကြိုက်တဲ့ဟာသူတို့ရဲ့တုံ့ပြန်မှုအဲ့ဒါတွေလည်းပဲလောကရန်တွေပဲသူများနေပြီးတော့ကိုယ့်ကိုယ်တန်တရားရှိတဲ့အကြောင်းခရဏပြရင်ခရဏ demonstrate လုပ်တယ်ဆိုရင်နောက်ပိုင်းကျတော့ကိုယ့်ကိုယ်တန်တရားဖြစ်သွားတာအများစုအလုံးသိပြီးသားပုံပြင်တစ်ခုပါပဲအဲ့ဒါတရားပြန်ဆရာတော်တွေကတော့ခဏခဏပြောတယ်အဲ့ဒါဘာလို့ဆိုတော့အဖိုးကြီးတရားတောလိုက်တယ်ဆိုတာလေသူကသမင်တကောင်ရလာတယ်သူသမင်ရလာတာကိုရွာထဲကလေးကြီးတိပြီးတော့ဒီဘိုးကိုထုတ်သွားပြီးတော့illusion လုပ်ရအောင် illusion ဖန်တီးပြီးတော့ပြောရအောင်ဟာဘယ်လိုပြောမှာတော့သူရလာတဲ့ဟာကတမင်မဟုတ်ဘူးအခွေးကြီးလို့ပြောအောင်အဲ့ဒါနဲ့ရွာတူရွာမှာအဲ့ဘိုးပြန်လာရင်လည်းသွားစီးပြီးတော့ပြောရင်ဘိုးဘာဖြစ်လို့ခွေးထမ်းလာတော့ခွေးသေးထမ်းလာတော့သူလည်းပြန်ခွေးသေးမဟုတ်ပါဘူးကွာဒီမှာငါခုသမင်တကောင်ရလာတာအဲ့ရွာဖြတ်သွားပြီးတော့အဲ့ရွာအဆုံးမှာနောက်ထပ်တစ်ယောက်ထပ်ဆောင်နေပြန်အဲ့လိုထပ်ပြောပြန်ဘာဖြစ်လို့သမင်တော့ပြစ်တယ်ဆိုပြီးတော့ခွေးထမ်းလာတော့နှစ်ယောက်ပြောတဲ့ခါကျတော့သူ့ရဲ့ subconscious mind ကနည်းနည်း active ဖြစ်လာနည်းနည်းတန်တရားဖြစ်လာဒါမဲ့ပြန်ညင်းတယ်မဟုတ်ပါဘူးဒါသမင်မှာသူ့ရဲ့ရွာသူ့နေတဲ့ရွာအဝင်လာကြတဲ့ခါကျတော့ရီလိုက်တာလေကလေးတဲ့နောက်ထပ်ပြီးတော့အိုက်ကောင်လေးတဲ့ထပ်ဆောင်တယ်အကြံနဲ့ပေါ့သူရီတာပေါ့ကြည်စားမအောင်မင်္ဂလာမရှိလိုက်တာဒီမှာခွေးသေးကောင်ကိုထမ်းလာတယ်သမင်ဆိုရင်လည်းဟုတ်ပါရဲ့ဒီမှာကြည်ပေါင်းအဲ့လိုပြောရခါကြတော့သူထမ်းလာတဲ့သမင်ကိုလွှင့်ပစ်လိုက်တယ်ဆိုလိုတာကဘေးကအပြောများရင်အဲ့လိုပဲဖြစ်တတ်တယ်တရားထိုင်တဲ့နေရာမှာဝိပဿနာဆရာတော်တွေကတော့ဒါကဘာပြောတာတော့ဆိုအဲ့ဒီခဏလမ်းမှာစားပြီးတော့ပြောနေတဲ့လူတွေကဒါကတော့အပြင်ကလူတွေပေါ့ဟိုတဲ့အနေနဲ့ပုံမြင်တဲ့အနေနဲ့ပြောရင်တော့အဲ့ဒီဟာကိုပြန်ပြီးတော့အဘိဓမ္မာသဘောပညာဒီပရမတ်သဘောနဲ့analyze လုပ်တယ်ဆိုရင်တော့ကိုယ်စိတ်ထဲမှာပေါ်လာတဲ့သိဉာဏ်တွေပေါ့ perception အဲ့သိဉာဏ်တွေပေါ်လာတိုင်းအမှန်တရားကိုဘုံမှုတို့ကမမြင်ပဲနဲ့မမှန်တဲ့ဟာကိုသွားပြီးတော့အမှန်လို့ယူဆတာပေါ့အမှန်လို့ယူဆတာဒါကတင်ညာလိန်နာကိုခံရတာလို့ဆိုကြတာပေါ့အဲ့တော့ဘုံတို့အားလုံးကအဲ့ဒီမုတ်ဆိုးလို့ပဲဘဝခရီးသွားနေကြတော့ဘဝခရီးသွားတဲ့အခါမှာကိုယ့်ရဲ့မသိစိတ်ထဲမှာရှိတဲ့တင်ညာနော်ဆိုတော့အကျင့်တစ်ခုကအတွေ့တစ်ခုကအကျဉ်းသူကအဲ့ဒီလိုလာပြီးတော့ပြောလိမ့်မယ်အဲ့လူငယ်တွေပြောတဲ့အတိုင်းပဲသမင်ကိုခွေးလို့သူပြောရင်ပြောမယ်အဲ့လိုပြောတဲ့အခါမှာကိုယ်လက်ထဲမှာရှိတဲ့အခါသမင်ဆိုတာကိုဆက်လက်ပြီးတော့ယုံကြည်ဖို့အရေးကြီးတယ်ဒါအကောင်းမြတ်ဝါဒနဲ့ပတ်သက်တာ Tamingo Tamilo Minesui no, a mango a malo minapo. A mango manu. A mango manu minesera. Low item at lauti, Nini Jara, Ninkori Jara, but a little bit of mango malumian. Yes, of Yakaro, a ma a mansurate. Bad action ka, doka psisi, bad action doka mi pusura, doka ne, standard habit of tweebar. I don't this are libago. Oh, formulate low tara veji. Bello loya mu, bello jinsi muka, doka go. Ne on, Permason low nine, now banjado, a mip down, low nine is we. I have to make a design of Korea. Tama dati mangan and yes, mangan is what I can do. Eddie Doka go, yo ne out, Doka jo lana out, low nine swango. The man look call. No, man is the idea my call. But what the girl told up said they say, I told out go up below. Mangane theory be a tinya ne be shini a tinya ne a chema pomo dodago nyai on malo nine busui a mandia a chema to a tomachao the near geometry a mandia a mama hobo this are labor standard go do it doesn't meet the standard of the Four Noble Truth. These are labor standard go do a mamiu my job matin nine people. I don't put that the other man and Madasura. Doka Jatanari, Natema Muri, Yo Ne Ao. Low nine swan she, a dwee call, a me. Eddie Howay. A commune I look call it, a man the other call it. Individually, Piambino Sanaji Mesoi. Natown at Donkunema. Natown at Donkunema, Pomo PhD, Pigani. Americani, American Sadanto Papido. Oxford Pianyauto. American Sadanto Pine, New York Massa, the Asian Association of Asian Studies Conference. Sadanto Pine, the American Promotion Yacht. Sadanto Pine. The Kari Peneha. Now, Denia Bitania Pomoa, like Lakana. Oh, West Coast, a tea out there. Oh, Betty out on Los Angeles, Pet out there, Arizona, Pet out there. Alubono, not be all. Or Chicago Pele out there, Illinois Pele out there. Pimbando Abidoli, a time when one. A time when one. Emma, a time when Abidol. Pian Larecam, also Pian Larecam. University Hospital, Tabiro Piacajero, Selma Pajosa. Shimcha Lejong consumption. Lejong consumption. 18 months, Sega. Papship was so long, restless. Go say the Janjia, they my child, a child, the hour shall do. My child, beho maro. A child, the hour would carry, Joe Bobby to a child, the hour, maybe to carry. Now a child, the Elisha came up, a child, the hour to a child, the hour. Manum Piauli, the cold carry, Bobby to the cold Elisha kind of the cold to a Piao. And the Piacazer, go say him a day, my child, or go along with me. A man of day, my child. I tell my father to do, Dana Julo, no man had a lochin, a dollar lochin. Bria dinner better than lochin, a briba dinner better than lochin. Eluade, me I tween upon a shout tween. Maloya de Haribe, a rap a gone shout tweeder. The project I see him. I tell my also mute man. Chong and lebe. Savio di Tambodwe, Paper Boma Veshiti. Ngaye. And a crown up here can it out of the Atine. Matai name. Now, say, can it carry Luenera. When they tried it, the chat on Shulumia. And the chapter when they should lie, 12 my look like. I look at Ngayata. Ngayata. I look at Pinnated man. Now so no. Oh, Mazisari, the Poya Shumapa. I die Ngayat Shumala Kana, Fabio Tiny Meow, Tiny Meow with Ngaya Jarakataro. But 2 years Lona William and then a Jew Pilar. Palito to it on Sero. Matimine Seiko, Lekan light. Nabiro Chow Seiko, Lekan light. Let Tonkins are pitching a pit kiss a issue. Anyhow, Lekan light. Uncertainty of Lekan light. Lekan Cataro said to him, I uncertainty of Lekan Biro. Seka, Nina never named or a young name. Time a name that a window of opportunity lay young. Window of opportunity pali young solo. A tweet young narrowly. I met a low. She'll be tweeting her no. Maloya did a year, called let him a machine there, every year be tweeting. Tweely anxiety pomiale, tweely maginally, tweel illuminaja said it popchili. Going I lay jaya, a hallo. Pinid need how uncertain to Lekan and a cataro. Now at that those and a shin. Now at that those and a shin. A chamber like general. Let look like that. Let us raka to us soon like that. A chamber that will pogo releve. At a machine, Namaji pogo releve. Those and a shin dreamer. Few low lare, Tadana low man's with him. Pomon, Nagara Savio, Copian to it. I'm your pit. I'm only PD pit. And Tale low capital, Massini, I look at Bibi. Such a poem of chicken, Care, could at the Gide, Tangare, could hang at Tangare, Laviro, a deviro namle. Tale Satin papers at the car with Jushin Piapons and Mube. Point out Mata, a truth in bearable. A Jushin's Raga, Jushin Bears Rata, person you beat up hope about low. Oh, a boat in bear. I have more. At such how nature, second and a logger, Sala. And I left him to either carry PD pit. Hello, you bona. Bidiri local nearly. Sacha point to capture the Cantaro at that Nasay, Wamia things are going to Cantaro. Pomon kind a tanga, a let dancer. Go at the better mat, the Nangalo, the Vaga, not the Nangaloma, Dudia. At have Jan do the kind of Bidiri pit. Wamaya to Sapo Chit, Damasriada, make only told him. Edit handy bit of cat, the Vaga, Tudia Yam, telling a loom, and I began to a bit of cat. Oh, I had a Juzak, not a good and as I Juzak, the near pure mesoino, moody dam sit. Eddie moody dane, go ye. A commune are copian bit of carca, Abia. Didn't it illusion? Pita that I ate a chicken way. I ate a petty. Can you turn look? Go choose other pian 2 years. Can I pian 3 years? Nero no mulata, Pejama take Pelu choose a kede, a lay dampema, Pejama take a pelu choose a kede, a ted dampema take a take the bema take နောက်ပြီးတော့တခါဘွဲလွန်တွေ specialization တွေဘယ်မှာထပ်တက်တယ်လုပ်ငန်းခွင်မှာဘယ်လိုကြိုးစားခဲ့တယ် society ကိုဘယ်လို contribute လုပ်ခဲ့တယ်အဲ့ဒီအရင်ပြန်ပြီးတော့တွေးရတယ်ဘာဖြစ်လို့တုံးဆိုတော့တိရဒမင်းသားကလောရနဲ့တွေ့ကြတဲ့အခါမှာအဲ့ဘောဓိပင်အောက်မှာလေဘာတွေးတော့သူ6နှစ်တာသူကြိုးစားခဲ့တာကြိုးစားတာကိုတွေးတာတော့အောင်မြင်တာကိုတွေးတာမဟုတ်အောင်မြင်တာလည်းတွေးနိုင်ပါတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့အဲ့ဒီအချိန်မှာတိရဒမင်းသားကမအောင်မြင်သေးဘူးဖျားမဖြစ်သေးဘူးသူလိုချင်တဲ့ပန်းတိုင်မရောက်သေးမရောက်ပေမဲ့သူကြိုးစားတာသူပြန်တွေးပြီးတော့သူ့ကိုယ်သူပီတိဖြစ်နေတာပေါ့ rejoicement အဲ့ဒါကိုမုဒိတာခေါ်တယ်တမာတိကကောင်းတဲ့ခါကျတော့အဲ့6နှစ်တည်းမကောက်သူငယ်တော့ပြန်တွေးတယ်နောက်အရင်ဘဝပြန်တွေးတယ်သူများအတွက်ငါအများကြီးလုပ်ခဲ့တာပဲဒရိစံဖြစ်တဲ့ဘဝမှာတော့မှအများအတွက်စိတ်ကောင်းထားတာတွေအများအတွက်တွေးတာတွေaltruistic tendency ဆိုလောကဓာတ်စရိယာအဲ့ဒီစိတ်နဲ့ကနေခဲ့တာပဲအဲ့ပြန်တွေးပြီးတော့သူ့ကိုယ်သူအားရတယ်အဲ့ဒီချိန်မှာပြင်စားကြီးတို့ရဲ့ဝေဖန်မှုတွေတခြားဘာသာတွေဝေဖန်မှုတွေသူ့ကိုမထိခိုက်တော့သူစီရောက်လာတဲ့ခါမှာသူတို့ရဲ့စကားတွေပြောတဲ့ချိန်မှာသူတို့ပါဇက်နဲ့ထွက်လာတဲ့ခါမှာဘလောက်ပဲကြမ်းနေသူ့နားကိုရောက်လာတဲ့ခါမှာသူ့ရဲ့စိတ်ကိုတုံလှုပ်စေနိုင်တဲ့အင်အားမရှိတော့အဲ့ဒါကိုပြောတာ metaphor အနေနဲ့ဟိုကနေပြစ်လိုက်တဲ့လက်နက်ကတီးရတဲ့ခါကျတော့ပန်းလေးသဘောဖြစ်သွားတယ်ပန်းလေးလိုဖြစ်သွားတယ်အဲ့ဒါကြောင့်မလို့ဘုံအမြဲတမ်း focus လုပ်နေတဲ့ကရုဏာနဲ့မုဒိတာကရုဏာဆိုတာကလက်ရှိတွေ့ကြုံရတဲ့ပြဿနာဖြေရှင်းနိုင်တယ်အဲ့လိုဆက်လက်ယုံကြည်ထားတာယူဆထားတာကိုကရုဏာလို့ခေါ်တယ်ဆက်လက်ပြီးတော့မကြိုးစားဆိုရင် alternative က is a lot worse ဒါကြောင့်ဆက်လက်ကြိုးစားမယ်အဲ့တော့ကရုဏာခေါ်တယ်နောက်ပြီးတော့ကိုကြိုးစားခဲ့တဲ့အရာတွေပြန်တွေးကိုကြိုးစားခဲ့တဲ့ပြန်တွေးငါတကယ်ကြိုးစားခဲ့တယ်ဒီတွေးကြုံနေရှိတယ်အဲ့ဒီဟာတွေကိုပြန်ပြီးတော့တွေးတာကြတော့မုဒိတာလို့ခေါ်တယ်အဲ့ဒီကရုဏာနဲ့မုဒိတာနဲ့နှစ်ခုပေါင်းလိုက်ရင်အကောင်းမြင်ဝါဒဒီအမှန်တမ်းခက်ခဲတဲ့ချိန်ကာလမှာလည်းအကောင်းမြင်ဝါဒကိုဆက်လက်ပြီးတော့ထိန်းထားနိုင်ပါတယ်မုံထားလေးအဓိကပြောချင်ပါတယ်ခက်ခဲတဲ့ကာလမှာအကောင်းမြင်ဝါဒပို့ပြီးတော့ရည်ကြည်တယ်သစ္စာ၄ပါးတို့ပြမစု၄တရား၄ပါးတို့ဒါတွေအကောင်းမြင်ဝါဒကိုတိဆောက်ပေးတဲ့တရားတော်တွေဖြစ်တယ်ဆိုတဲ့အကြောင်းပြောရင်းနဲ့အချင်းချုပ်ပါတယ်အလုံးချမ်းသာကြပါစေ